Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the live stream for The Cure 2.0. We are
2.0.
man, 5 hours, Justin. We're only 5 hours into the event, and already an amazing $1,773,
Great year.
35.5% of the way toward our goal of The Cure. It's amazing. I got to thank every single person out there. Your amazing generosity. So many amazing donations coming in. Mr. X from the Angry Old Man checking in with 200. The Knicks cast with over $300 dropping in there. Some high value donations. We really appreciate it. And I also love the small dono wars. Again, be part of the stream right here. You can see on the image here, all you have to do is DM whatever it is over to Livestream for Cure on Twitter. You can get your own GIF added to the slideshow that's paying behind there. Or I'll play with the Swayze on a stick, this guy. You can get your own soundbite added to the soundboard. You could do a stream rule change. We'll sing, we'll do rhymes, we'll talk in questions, we'll talk in funny accents. We're going to start doing drinking games pretty soon. We're going to do Kings Cup or California Kings or whatever the hell you want to call it rules when we do that. Free EFG Patreon for 1 month. And then if you do $25, you're spinning the prize wheel, baby. So lots and lots of great chances to interact with the stream, to be part of everything. I am Epic Film Guy Nick, and I am joined by my wonderful co-hosts. Did you just kiss your wife?
That's you guys, you goddamn. You guys are the worst.
Us Lloyd Choss, the god of podcasting, self-proclaimed god of podcasting. He's here. Lloyd Sauce. Check one. Check. Sound check. Check. Right? Yeah.
Yes, that's right. I'm the god of podcasting. I am the king.
And I am the Titan Kronos of podcasting.
All right, and ladies and gentlemen, of course, we are being joined this hour by none other than Director Brennick from the Netflix and Soul
Actually,
podcast.
That's executive producer Brennick.
Executive producer Brennick, sorry, who literally his efforts, the live stream for The Cure 2.0 would not be what it is without him. He's done a lot of really good work helping me organize things and helping me do a lot of things. So we really appreciate it, Dan. Thank you very much. I'm going to give you your own honorary. Fist yourself! Just for you.
I need a coffee.
I'm actually brewing a pot of coffee right now because we're going to start pulling into the later night hours here. But I do also have some beers here. And I know on your show, Dan, you guys like to do a little bit of a segment called What is Your Swill?
Can we please get some alcohol into my mouth?
He hates these cans! Stay away from the cans!
I think I can hear that. I can't joke. So for the live stream for The Cure, I got something special. My brother recently found this brewery out in Sharpsburg, Pennsylvania. It's like a 20-minute drive from my house. It's the Hitchhiker Brewing Company, and I am drinking their 1844 Cocktail Ale. It is a traditional ale. It is 8% alcohol by volume. It doesn't have IBU, so Justin, I'm sorry I can't give you the full flavor profile, but it tastes like some IBUs.
You know what we never did ask earlier? Loy Sauce, what do you have guzzling into your gullet?
This motherfucker's got Pussy Man drink. He got some Pussy Man beer.
Thank you, Justin. On the show before, it's the Star Hill Brewery Love wheat beer.
The love. How gay can you get?
Jeez.
What the fuck? Did you light up or something? What's going on?
How many of those Narragansetts have you fucking had?
Dude, this is only my second one. This is only my third beer. This is true. You've seen me. This is only 3.
Wow.
Oh, this is really good. This cocktail ale, real fucking good. I like it a lot.
Heather, welcome back to the chat. Welcome, chat. We hope you guys hung out as we get into part 2 of day 1 of Livestream for the Cure. We're going all the way to the end now. Now that the stream has been reset. Like I said, you can only stream, I forget what time limits each of them have. I'm pretty sure YouTube's 8 hours. I don't know what Twitch is. Twitch, I think, is longer, but eventually it'll cut you off, so you got to kind of reset everything. And plus, internet service will start getting kind of wonky, so that's why we want to do a stream reset periodically. And plus, hey, I got to get up to pee and stuff. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are here to talk about the films of Quentin Tarantino. Now, I don't really think we need to ask if anybody here in the panel is a fan of Quentin Tarantino. Everybody in the chat.
Tarantino, that hack.
I love me some Tarantino. So this is really just intended to be more of a free-form discussion about the films of Quentin Tarantino. We don't necessarily have to go through his whole filmography. We probably will, because it's not very big. But
if we're strictly speaking directorial, yes, you're right.
Yeah.
One of the most successful filmmakers that have only made he's made. And he's had the ability and the access to make the films only he's wanted to make. He's never made a movie that he didn't want to make. He never made a studio film. He's always made his films, and which is monumental in its own way. But no one else has been able to do what Tarantino's done.
Are you guys in the chat getting echo now? I'm trying to figure out what happened with Justin's sound. Now it sounds terrible again.
He sounds fine to me.
It's it's doing the thing again where it's dropping like the beginning of his audio.
Technically, I'm homeless.
See how he's talking right now? Like he's talking, but I can't hear him.
Yeah.
But then when I undo the speakers, say something, you guys.
Say something. Say something.
Loy sauce.
Loy sauce.
Chos, cost, boss. Hoss.
It's the weirdest thing, but I have to have them open on up here. I have to have Justin muted on the Livestream for the Cure channel on Discord, but not Loy sauce. Even though Loy sauce isn't even using a microphone.
It's the same mic.
Yeah, that's why I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense to me, but whatever. We're going to roll with it. Whatever fucking connection actually ends up working here. All right, so like I said, we don't necessarily have to go through the entire filmography of Quentin Tarantino, but this was an Epic Film Guy segment that I suggested, and Dan, you wanted to join us for it. So we'll start with you. Just in general, what do you look for in a Tarantino film? Why do you like Tarantino films?
Because he's the GOAT. That stands for greatest of all time, you numbnuts.
We know, Dan.
He's Tom Brady?
No, fuck Tom
He's the
Brady.
Tom Brady of directors.
No, fuck Tom Brady.
Man.
No, Tom Brady could literally die in a fire tomorrow and I would not be sad. In fact, I'd tap dance on his goddamn ashes. Fuck that guy.
Oh my
So
god.
mean-spirited. So mean-spirited.
I hate Tom Brady. Shut up.
It's Dan.
Learn sports.
It's
and then
sports.
understand why I'm
It's
so
sports.
mad at Tom.
It's not real life. It doesn't affect anybody. They're getting paid to entertain people. It doesn't make any difference in the world.
All right, so
Okay, that's because you don't understand sports. That's for a different time.
I grew up with
quiet.
sports.
Nobody cares.
Sports are stupid.
You're a fucking moron.
Go play some. Then you'll be one. There you go.
Damn it.
I like Tarantino.
Thank you, Loy Sauce. Wait, hey.
I got something for your ass. Don't someone mess with time. You don't fuck
With time.
motherfucker.
John, I'm
Damn it.
fine with winning. Penn's won 2 Stanley Cups in a row. I'll take
All right, so Dan says he's the GOAT. Loy Sauce
Oh, yeah, he's the GOAT.
really likes some Tarantino. Justin, what do you love about Tarantino?
I love Tarantino. I love his sensibilities all the way back to his writing in True Romance. That was, his introduction to film when he was writing it, and the first script that he ever made that got actually put into a movie. It's one of my favorite movies. No one else makes movies like Tarantino. He's one of the only directors that can get away with actually semi-ripping stuff off from previous eras, but making it seem like an homage, but still making it his own thing and making it great. He's one of the only directors also that still likes to shoot on film, as well as have those old school sensibilities in his films where it feels like it could have been made in the 80s or the 70s, but it's still modern. He doesn't give a fuck about politics in his movies, though he does actually bleed through his own mindset, his own opinions throughout the films, but not preachy and not in a way that becomes annoying or pretentious. Every movie I've watched of his has been at least somewhat entertaining, and the guy can write dialogue like no one else on the planet. I mean, you don't, when you watch a Tarantino movie, you know immediately within 5 minutes a Tarantino movie because no one shuts the fuck up. But the dialogue is so well written, it's so relatable and so real that you can't take your eyes off it. You can't stop listening to it. I don't think, like I said, there's the Hitchcocks, there's the Spielbergs, and then there's the Tarantinos, and there's only one of them. That's the only one.
Yeah. And over in the chat, John DeQuilla, most of his movies suck.
That's factually incorrect.
We got a much different opinion in there. Anybody else in the chat want to chime in and let us know how they feel about some Tarantino? Go ahead and drop your feelings over there. I love Justin actually touched on it right away, his dialogue. I love his dialogue. He writes dialogue in a way, and he stages a scene, and he crafts and creates a scene in a way that just infinitely builds on itself tension-wise, that a simple conversation, like think of films like Inglourious Bastards, like with the opening scene with Christoph Waltz just sitting at that table and drinking milk.
Well, he knows the exact amount of time to let the scene breathe, to let tension
I would agree.
build.
Yep.
Like, you're constantly riveted because the dialogue keeps building and building and building until it all hits ahead, and just it's pretty incredible to watch the dialogue scenes unfold. And usually there's an explosion of violence at the end to cap it all off.
Very true. He's a big fan of the Mexican standoff. So I don't know. It seems weird to. Do we want to do favorite Tarantino films, or do we want to avoid that and go somewhere else? Do we want to
go to least favorite?
Least favorite Tarantino
Everyone's
film?
least favorite's going to be the same.
Are you sure?
What do you think it is, Saucy Man?
I mean, it's widely considered to be Death Proof to be his weakest film.
Wrong.
Okay. What's your least
And
least
why
favorite?
so?
Death Proof?
I'm asking Dan. He said wrong. I'm asking him.
Oh, yeah.
It's Jackie Brown.
Oh,
I love
fuck
Jackie
off.
Brown way more than Death Proof.
No, you fuck yourself, Loy Sauce. Oh, the Beatles are the greatest band ever. I'm the Sauce, everybody.
This isn't about the Beatles.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Jackie Brown just it does a lot of the things that you want a Tarantino movie to do. It's just it doesn't feel right for whatever reason. I watched it and I just went, this isn't okay. Like, this is fine, but it's not like anything amazing. Like, it isn't like the Tarantino that you got with Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction.
Does anybody want a strong bow?
I must admit, like, putting yourself back in the 90s, coming off of Pulp Fiction, I'm sure people were really excited to see what Tarantino would do next and expecting something like a Pulp Fiction or Reservoir Dogs. So I can imagine people going into Jackie Brown expecting something like that and then walking out being horribly disappointed because it's not at all like Reservoir Dogs or Pulp Fiction. It's slower. You can argue that it's boring.
Yep.
But all the characters are old and tired, and I really like that about the movie.
Do you want to hear my embarrassing confession?
You've never seen Jackie Brown.
Never seen Jackie Brown. It's the
Oh
only
my God.
Tarantino film I've never seen.
I just watched it, and I just went, man, Robert De Niro's totally wasting this fucking movie. Literally, you could have gotten a stump.
He's amazing in
Great
it.
performance, dude.
No, he's horrible. He just doesn't do anything. What does he
Great
do?
Performance. Great performance. It doesn't matter what he
it's
does.
not a great performance.
Dan.
Is not being like.
Dan, it doesn't
'Cause
matter.
I could do that.
It's how well. Of course you could. It matters on based upon what he was given in the script to do and how well he did it, and he did a great job.
Right. I'm saying
he's playing
wise. He was wasted.
He's
what did
playing
he do?
He's playing a different kind of character than when you typically see him play, and that's what I liked about it. You've already seen him play tough guys who kill people and shoot people and blow people away in every other movie. It was good to see him play a different type of character in that movie. And actually, I prefer it. It is slow. It is slower than most of his other movies. It's more dialogue driven. You don't get to see people getting blown away every 5 minutes. But for me, like, I just prefer the tone of it. Death Proof, I will be completely honest. I walked out of the cinemas watching it within 15 minutes. And I love Kurt Russell. God, and I love the whole premise of the movie. But obviously I saw on a double bill with Grindhouse and Planet Terror, and you don't put that movie after Planet Terror because people are going to walk out because it's just so slow.
Planet Terror was so great.
It is, exactly. And you don't, I mean, but again, I've talked about this a million times. If you had to put, change the films around in the order, people would have left before you got to Planet Terror. So it was the right idea. It was a failed experiment. It was fun. It was cool. But no, I mean, honestly, I like Jackie Brown a lot. It's one of my favorite Tarantino movies. I'm not a huge fan of Kill Bill. I think the first one's pretty good. Second one's pretty good, but I don't think they're as good as a lot of people say they are. I am the minority in that sense, but I don't care.
Where is it? Where is
the
it?
action in Kill Bill is amazing.
This is
No,
Epic
yeah, of
Film
course the
Frog
action's
here,
great.
and I want to tell you, go fuck yourself.
That's fine. That's fine.
I'm with you on this. Kill Bill's just fine. Like I appreciate the action, but there is just too much like quote unquote homages to older cinema that I just don't appreciate as much as other people would.
Right, and I think it comes from a lot of people that grew up with that or they love that. So when they watch it, like, oh yeah, look at that, that's from this, or he's referencing this, and so yeah, you get all those little Easter eggs and those little homages. I
think more than a lot of films, I think that Kill Bill is really Tarantino, really overtly trying to pay homage to a lot of different things. Like, you get your Western in there, you get your Kung Fu flick in there, you even get anime in Kill Bill Volume 1. Like,
yeah.
There's tons and tons of that kind of stuff in there where it's heavy on the homage. And it's like, weird that way. I don't really know. Caleb is only seeing half of the chat. Which half are you missing? Oh, you know why? No.
He's not in YouTube.
No, I know why, because shit. I'll deal with that. I'm sorry. You guys can continue. I'm sorry. I just gotta.
Well, I feel like at this point we should just bring up the different titles that he's done and just throw them around the room and see what the rest of us think about them. I'm going to throw up one of my favorites of his, and I'll throw it to you, Dan, because you are a guest on this and you've done so much for the live stream. Django Unchained.
That's my second favorite.
Okay.
Tarantino.
I had a feeling you were going to say that, but why so?
Well, so to me, Tarantino kind of changed how he directed at the turn of the century. Like from Kill Bill onward, like he's had a totally different style than how he's had in the 90s. And to me, Django Unchained was like the perfect culmination of characters, of his new cinema technique, and his kind of carry through of his particularly witty and good dialogue.
What do you think, Sauce?
Definitely. I worked at a movie theater when Django Unchained came out. I was just like an usher going from theater to theater cleaning. And I would sneak into the cinema where Django Unchained was playing and just watch it all day. I would just stand there and just watch the movie because over and over and over again. There's something about that movie that I find tremendously compelling. Great characters. The dialogue, like I said, is just on point. I love how over the top gory the film is. Just the explosions of blood and gore. It's glorious.
It's glorious.
It's glorious. Yes. I think what I find fascinating about that film as well is that dichotomy, how Tarantino is able to differentiate the kinds of violence in the movie. For example, there's the horrific, graphic, realistic violence when it comes to the violence inflicted upon the slaves.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the cathartic violence when the shootout happens at the end and it's just over the top, ridiculous explosions of blood. And that to me is
Literally when he blows himself up.
Exactly. And that's
Tarantino, yeah.
that speaks to Tarantino's skill as a director, as a filmmaker, able to showcase all these different types of violence and draw a clear moral line between the two of them.
I think Django, I don't really know. I just have not ever thought about where I would rank Tarantino films really. I think for me, and this is one of those things with me with Leonardo DiCaprio, who is such a treasure, and I love him so much. And this is another one of those performances that really didn't get as much attention as it should have. I mean, he got nominated for a Golden Globe for this, right?
Yeah.
I don't think he got nominated for an Oscar for this one, did he? Or did he?
No.
I have no
I
idea.
think he did. I'll have to look
I
it
can't
up.
remember. You'll have to check on it. But like, I love him as Calvin Candy in this fucking movie. Like, probably far and away my favorite part of Django Unchained is Leonardo DiCaprio and Samuel L. Jackson. I love Samuel L. Jackson in that movie.
Well,
Absolutely love him.
I think that's what has me very excited for Tarantino's next movie. I can't remember the title is off the top of my head, but it has Leo in
Once
it
Upon
again.
a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah, it has Leo in it again, and you're like, well, this is what Leo was able to do before with Tarantino, and now here we are 7 years later. Like, what else? What else are we gonna get out of this guy with Tarantino?
Yeah, that's gonna be...
he did not get a nomination for Oscars for that, and he only actually got a nomination for Golden Globe.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, he didn't win anything for it, but he just got the nomination for the Golden Globe,
That's
right?
right.
Yeah. So again, with Tarantino, not with DiCaprio, I love that so much. So maybe I take a little bit of that out on the movie. I'm just like, God damn it, why didn't he get enough? So I don't look on Django the same way because it's like, but I do love it. I love Christoph Waltz in that movie too. Christoph Waltz is a treasure. Can we talk about how much of a treasure Christoph Waltz is?
We can, except whenever we could talk about it more when he stops doing Tarzan movies, or he stops doing fucking Ready Player One, or whatever else he's doing, and he plays the generic archetype of whatever else filmmakers want to use.
Downsizing. Oh God.
Wasn't in Ready
What?
Player One.
Christoph Waltz was in Ready Player One.
No, he's in that Battle Angel movie that's coming out later this year. I have no idea what it's called, but that's it's something Battle Angel.
Alita, I think. No, he's in fucking Downsizing. Loisos, how great was Downsizing?
God, that's right. He isn't. He's actually one of the best parts of Downsizing.
It breaks my heart. Alexander Payne is like one of my favorite directors in Hollywood, and that film just fucking breaks my heart. Jesus, it was bad. But we're not talking about Alexander Payne. We're talking about Quentin Tarantino.
A better director?
Yeah. Alexander Payne is really, really shit. He's done maybe like 6 or 7 movies in the past fucking 20 years. Even less than Tarantino.
Jesus.
He does very few as well. But we can move on from Django. Why don't we go back to the beginning? I don't know why we started with Django, but
why not?
I brought it up.
Fuck
We
it.
need to go in order here.
That's true. Well, I want to go back to the beginning anyway. I want to go back to the beginning, and I want to talk about Reservoir Dogs. Because Reservoir Dogs for me was, this is one of those movies that I watched this movie on repeat probably 1,000 times. And when my buddy Jake was alive, and I talked about him up at the top of the live stream for The Cure, I have a poster up in, Justin's seen it because he's been here, up in my entranceway. Dan, you've seen it too because you've been here.
Yes.
Up in the entranceway in the stairs in my apartment, there's a poster of Mr. Blonde that Jake got for me that I still have. And I don't watch that movie really anymore just because it's tied in with those memories, and I really don't, like going back to that place too often.
Quick aside to music. That's why I don't listen. I have similar reasons to not listen to.
Dan, you keep cutting out for me.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't listen to Mayday Parade for similar reasons.
Yes, I will agree with that.
God damn it. Is this can you hear me now?
I can hear you right now.
Can we get the feels now?
Can you hear? Are you feeling it now, Mr. Krabs?
Art thou feeling it now, Mr. Krabs?
Oh, I said okay. Sorry, I said like 4 times. There's a reason why I don't listen to Mayday Parade and that kind of.
No. Yeah, I
on
heard that. I heard that the last time you said it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so like, but I love Reservoir Dogs. It's just one of those movies where I don't know. I bought into it like from the get-go, from the first time I saw it. A lot of people will call it overrated nowadays, or a lot of people will be like, it sucks, or what. I still love it. I still absolutely love it to this day.
The escalation of tension in that movie is just terrific.
Yes.
That's what he's best at, in my opinion.
By far. And I think he perfects that as he goes on in his career. And we'll talk about some other films that he does where he does absolutely amazing with tension. But anybody else just love the shit out of Reservoir Dogs?
It's my wife's favorite film of his. We've watched it many times when he first started dating. I do own it. I've watched it on many occasions, but it has, I'll admit with you, Nick, though, not for the same reasons as yourself, but I haven't watched it in a long time because when I was younger, like, late teens, early 20s, the same thing that Scarface did to me. You'd be at a party, people would be watching it all the time. That's what put me off from Pulp Fiction as well for a long time, is I'd go to parties, hang out, smoke some weed, whatever I was doing, and people would always have Reservoir Dogs on, Scarface, or Pulp Fiction. So as many times as I watched that and enjoyed it, I kind of stopped watching it for a long time until I started dating my wife, and that was her favorite. So I do very much appreciate it. It's not my favorite film of his, but I mean, the way that he actually juggles that entire cast, and the cast is heavy hitters, man. There's some amazing actors in there, and like how early he was in his career, it's astonishing what he did with that film. That just goes to show the talent the guy had. There are some filmmakers that work themselves like a dog until they get to a point where they can make a good movie. And then there's some people that are just born to be good filmmakers. Mm-hmm. And Tarantino, very much like Hitchcock, very much like Spielberg, among others, he has that same ability.
I agree. 100%. And I just... Go ahead, Dan.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, so like, interestingly enough, within the last 2 years is when I actually discovered Quentin Tarantino. Like up until 2 years ago, I never watched a single Tarantino, and now I've watched all 9 of them. Reservoir Dogs kind of got ruined by my favorite Tarantino movie, which we'll get into probably next. But I don't think it's a bad movie. I think it's very good. I think it kind of portrays like the quote unquote unreliable narrator. Like it kind of gives you that because you're kind of going off of, okay, well, this guy says this happened, but another guy says, I don't remember that happening. So you're kind of basing off of like, well, who do you trust? Like, and to me, unreliable narrator is one of my favorite narrative techniques. And I think it's portrayed well until you get the reveal of who the cop is. And then after that, it's just kind of like there's just kind of nothing here. Like, I mean, obviously Michael Madsen.
I'm fucking dying here.
I'm fucking dying. Fucking Tim Roth slipping in and out of his accent the whole time. That's fucking hilarious to me. But I'm not one who talks about music a lot in movies, but the whole Michael Madsen dancing to whatever the fuck that song is, I can't remember what it is now.
In the Middle with You.
Yeah, and he's like getting ready to torture the cop. That's fucking chilling, dude. Like there are some great moments in Reservoir Dogs.
I want to dance like right now thinking about it. My favorite part of that scene is after he cuts the ear off and it goes back and he picks up the ear and he puts it to his mouth. He goes, "Did you hear that?" And he throws it away and then he just tosses it aside. Well, Dan, you mentioned in there your favorite Tarantino movie. What is your favorite Tarantino movie?
Well, that would be the next in his chronological line of movies. That would be Pulp Fiction.
I knew it. You're making it easy, Dan, but I want to hear why.
So this is actually the first one I watched of all the Tarantinos, and maybe that colors everything for it, but everything just worked. Actually, before I even saw Pulp Fiction, there's this SpongeBob video that goes around of some guy syncing the
Samuel L. Jackson scene to it.
Yeah,
I've seen that. Yeah, that's perfect.
The first one is actually with when they're in Quentin Tarantino's house and they're talking about the coffee.
Oh yeah,
I don't need you to tell me how good my coffee is. I'm the one who fucking buys it. Bonnie goes out and she buys shit. I buy the gourmet expensive stuff because I want to taste it. Like I was just like, man, what the fuck is this movie? This is so stupid. Like, this dialogue just sounds so stupid. Who would ever write this into a movie? And then I watched Pulp Fiction. I'm like, man, this dialogue is really stupid, but I'm so engaged the whole time. And that's really all Pulp Fiction is. It's just one of the most engaging movies I've ever seen. Like, every single scene, I'm just focused, with the exception of when Fabiana's on fucking screen, because fuck that character. If she I wish she would have just jumped off a bridge and I never would have seen her again, because fuck that character. But every other part of the movie is just
I want to get a
perfect.
I want to have a putt.
You want a pot? You mean smoke? No, pot belly. Oh.
Yeah, I am.
Fuck off, Fabiana.
I am not a Fabiana fan either, but Pulp Fiction is one of those things where it's been done so much in pop culture. Like, I can't watch Pulp Fiction without thinking about the pop culture references to it. Like, especially in The Simpsons, where they did like the whole spoof on when they get caught in the Gimp's lair and everything like that. That's just so ingrained in my mind. Like, I can't watch Pulp Fiction without thinking about that stuff anymore. But I love it that much more because of it. Yeah, stream.
Is
anybody watching? Where you guys at? Come alive.
Yeah, what do they call a quarter pound of, you know what they call a quarter pound of cheese? Royale with cheese.
Yeah.
What do they call a Big Mac?
They call it.
Afterburn's on tomorrow, man.
What?
That's what Leo's brother, that's his nickname on the show. Royale with cheese.
Speaking of loy sauce, I actually went to the Alamo at Raleigh, and they had a Royale with cheese there. So, of course, Pulp Fiction being one of my top 10 favorite movies of all time, I had to get the Royale with cheese.
Yeah, we have it at ours as well. It's fantastic.
But loy sauce, for some reason, Dan won't come down to visit us. I don't know why.
I'm in Virginia enough. I actually looked at, because I'm in Harrisonburg, because that's a halfway point. And I looked at it, and it's like a 2-hour drive to get to you. So
Squatter with cheese.
Hey.
So not worth it. Cool.
Okay.
Message received. Thanks, Dan.
I don't want Ashley to actually have to deal with you guys. That's really what it is.
Ouch.
I mean, he gets to have sex on one hand. On the other hand, he gets it, and they trade a telling look like we'll sex him.
I mean,
Dan, go get sex.
The price is right.
I don't need a human centipede train. I don't need that.
It's just saying. It's just like when people randomly show up in our circle of friends to our hangout and where he works, and then they're like, I'm going to go here, and I don't want to hang out with you guys. You guys suck. I'm like, okay, I didn't know I hurt your feelings that bad, but okay.
No. You don't hurt my feelings. It's just...
No, not you.
It's very rare that I get to see Ashley, so I just kind of devote my time to Ashley.
I get it. I understand. If I'm ever near you, which I never am, then I'll let you know.
Never. The closest you get is Pizza Boy. That's as close as you ever get.
And I've been there twice. So
I need to go so bad.
I thought you.
Sorry, Tarantino.
There.
Sorry.
Who had been?
No.
All right, never mind.
No, like they get the one bar I go to in the strip in the South Side has a lot of Pizza Boy.
Oh, that's what it was. All right.
Yeah.
Because I remember hearing about it from you. But yes, Tarantino, we should move on to another movie. Let's go to a newer movie, his most recent film, The Hateful Eight. And I have a feeling, Dan, you have something to say about this movie.
I like this movie. I don't love this movie. It's really slow. It's really long. I think it's actually his longest movie, with the exception of if you combine the two Kill Bills together. And I think that kind of hurts it. I do like all the tension that builds throughout the entire movie. And even though like we get an 11th hour reveal of what's actually going on at the inn, I still enjoy that. That said, I did watch this with Ashley, and dear fucking God, did she hate this movie. About an hour in, she was like, I fucking hate this movie. I'm like, you shut up. This is Quentin Tarantino. I'm going to watch everything he fucking does. I'm going to love it. And I didn't love it. I just wound up liking it. But I like enough about the movie. I really do. What I like about it's the same Tarantino. It's good dialogue. It's engaging dialogue. It's just at times it really, really slows down. And I don't know if it had something to do with trying to fit too much in or whatever it was. But For whatever reason, it didn't grab me.
I'll jump on it, Dan. I don't think it's that. I think it's the fact, and Justin and I both can attest to this because we both got to see it in the roadshow format.
Yes,
this film was made very specifically for the 70mm presentation because Tarantino had the 70mm cameras. He had his toys, and my God, did he play with them. Played with them so much that there's a lot of kind of expositional shots and just really long, nice, wide, gorgeous, absolutely beautiful cinematography.
Oh yeah, it's shot beautifully. I love
endlessly. He had those toys and he just played with them over and over and over and over again. And I think, Justin, I know you'll probably attest to this as well. I've actually never watched this film after I saw it in the theater, and I don't think I ever will because that roadshow presentation was phenomenal. And I think that's the way that this film was meant to be seen, and I think that through no fault of yours or through no fault of anyone else's that you just can't watch it like that now. Like, you legitimately can't. It's shorter.
It was hard, man.
It is my fault because I never watched Tarantino before this, so I guess it technically is my fault.
And I mean, just Ennio Morricone's score is unbelievably good, and the fact that before the film starts, you just sit there and listen to his score for the film, and then the film starts, halfway through, stops, intermission, 15 minutes of just the Ennio Morricone score again, and then back in for part 2. It's like it was amazing. It was just such an amazing experience, and I loved the movie so much more for it. I would.
Do you still have your booklet, Nick?
Yes, I do. Yep.
Sweet.
I actually have like 3 of them, I think. But
I have mine. Yeah.
I would probably.
Wait, who's your centerfold? Do you know who you got as the centerfold?
I believe I got Samuel L. Jackson's character.
That's me as well.
Yeah.
Man,
but Dan, I probably think I would feel like you did if I had seen this just.
It was on Netflix.
Netflix or whatever.
Yeah, that's basically I've watched every single movie. It's on Netflix. Yeah.
Yeah. It was God. I just.
That was the thing that I experienced, Nick, when I watched it for the first time at home when I got it on Blu-ray. It didn't have the same feel to it. It didn't look the same, and a lot of Blu-ray reviewers reviewed it and gave it not that so great marks because of the fact that they had seen it on the road show and it didn't look the same. It felt more desaturated and darker, and I mean, seeing a movie on film and the way they portrayed it in that fashion where they carted it around to different cities and showed it on film, 70mm, mind you, you don't see that very often. I mean, we're going to see that with Dan's favorite movie of all time soon with 2001: A Space Odyssey. I know he'll be running out.
Fuck you! Fuck you!
When that hits. But I mean, it is very rare to see that happen. So, I mean, those of us that have the opportunity, very, very lucky with that. But I mean, again, it is that cinematic presentation, and Tarantino is one of those filmmakers that agrees with it, along with Christopher Nolan and many others. Films are meant to be seen in the theater, and this is definitely one of those examples.
I really think that this is probably one of those most prime examples where I legitimately think the theatrical experience for this makes it a better film. The roadshow theatrical experience made this a better film for me. It might have just been sitting there and getting to listen to more of that Morricone score, which is brilliant. Legitimately.
Definitely. The Hateful Eight is one of my, I don't want to say least favorite, because I don't really have a least favorite Tarantino. I enjoy all of his films. But I was a little disappointed at how The Hateful Eight was almost like we had seen this all before. I was hoping he would do something a little bit different with this films, except for, which is what he did, which was end in a gory shootout, everyone dies.
It was just another revenge movie, yeah. And he's done a lot of revenge movies.
I was hoping he would do something a little bit more clever. I know when you're watching all these characters interact and the tension's building, there's really no other way to end it other than an explosion of violence. But I just feel like all of his movies have to end in a gory shootout, and I love his gory shootouts, don't get me wrong. But I just wish he had done something a little different than everyone kills each other and they all die. It's kind of, yeah. So I don't know. I've still watched it actually a couple times since I saw it in the theaters and enjoyed it, but I'd like to see him do something else other than, I don't know. I just feel like hopefully with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, he can kind of move away from that a little bit.
Could you imagine though if he has one of these movies that builds and builds and builds and builds, and then it's like a No Country for Old Men kind of ending where it just kind of ends, like there's no kind of cathartic release, it's just ends. Like I feel like that would.
I don't think that's what he's interested in as a storyteller.
100%. But like, I feel like people going into a Tarantino movie and then getting that kind of thing, that the backlash would be incredibly negative.
Well, just look at Jackie Brown. There's no gory shootout in Jackie Brown.
Mm-hmm.
And that leads you.
And
to
I know a lot of
somewhat
people
your
hate
opinion. Yeah. But that's why I look at it from a different way, because I do like that it's different from the rest of his films, because it does have that different feeling to it. But I mean, the characters are all
right. Jackie Brown's a bit more personal.
Yeah.
Well, not a bit more personal. It's like probably his most personal movie.
I like how this is not my original thought, but I thought I would bring it up. Red Letter Media, Jay Bauman said that his films often feel like real people trapped in exploitation films, and I think that's so accurate.
That is a great quote.
Yeah, because in Kill Bill, like in Kill Bill, The Bride, you see her kicking ass and slaughtering all of these people and being a badass with samurai swords and doing all these acrobatics and flips. At the end of Volume 2, she's just crying on the bathroom floor, and that's the end of the movie. So you get like real emotions from a realistic manner within the trappings of a gonzo exploitation flick, you know?
I want to throw a huge shout out here in the chat. We've got just 5 minutes left on our Tarantino discussion before JD from In Session Films will be joining us to talk about our favorite films from our childhoods. But huge shout out to Destruction in Human Form, Jared Taylor, with a donation of $27, just rounded us off at $1,800, 36% of the way toward the goal for The Cure. This is great. This is absolutely amazing. I'm really, really hoping for a huge day 2 and a huge day 3.
I can't even imagine, Nick, if we're already at this point by now, what's it going to be like come Sunday afternoon?
This is great.
It's insane.
And keep in mind, we've also got another $150 that I've got to chip into that total yet for merchandise sales that I haven't added in there yet. I'm going to wait until Sunday before that gets added in there. But final go round here. Why don't we spin around the horn really, really quickly? And did everyone state their favorite Tarantino film?
Mine's Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction.
You know what? I didn't come into this expecting to do my favorite Tarantino film, but if I had to right off the bat, it would probably be Django.
I know it's not the popular choice, but I gotta go Kill Bill. Specifically because of Kill Bill Volume 2. I think that is a fantastic movie. I mean, and don't get me wrong, Inglourious, it ends with him saying, "I think this might."
Oh my God, we didn't, you guys. We didn't even. Talk about
never
Inglourious
talked
at
about
all.
Inglourious.
We never talked about Inglourious at all.
I don't know how we didn't talk about Inglourious, because Inglourious, Christoph Waltz,
he's too magnetic in that film. That's my problem with that entire movie. Is he's just so magnetic that nobody else to me matters.
I think that's just the power of Christoph Waltz as an actor. I think when you get the right director directing him, because he doesn't always turn in performances like that, and he doesn't always knock it out of the park like that. When you get somebody like a Tarantino directing him, he's incredible. And that opening scene is one of Tarantino's best, and the scene in the bar, the shootout in the bar, is one of Tarantino's best. Loisos has mentioned it numerous times, building tension, the way that Tarantino builds tension. Mm-hmm. I think that the scene in the bar, especially in Inglourious, is probably the best scene Tarantino's ever done in terms of building tension.
Oh, no. That opening scene especially is great at building tension, because
that would be probably be right up there with me too, Dan. I love that movie. Is fantastic. That would be a close probably number 2 for me, followed by Pulp. But man, Kill Bill Volume 2, and it's for one simple reason. And we haven't talked a lot about actors who appear regularly in Tarantino flicks, and unfortunately we're not going to have time to, but Michael Madsen is one of those characters that you only, like, he really appears in most of Quentin Tarantino's films, but he is great. He is excellent as Bud in Kill Bill Volume 2. I really think he deepens the entire essence of the entire pair of films, really, because the first one is this gory action spectacle, homage to kung fu flicks, the massive battle against the crazy 88s, and then like you get this humble character who works in a titty bar and is just like, hey, she's gonna come and kill me, whatever, you know. And I love that character. Like, that character's humbleness, I think, is just incredible, and I love that so much. So any well, we got like 2 minutes here.
Brendan, Glorious Bastards ranks at the top for me.
Sorry,
I wish we could have talked about it more, but
I wish we could have talked about a lot of things.
I love
more,
it.
Unfortunately, such is the nature of the live stream for the Cure. We never get enough time to do everything we want to. Brendan Cassidy just checked in with a huge $50 donation. We're up to $18.50. One more percentage point toward the goal. Thank you very, very much. Brendan, of course, is the co-host of the In Session Film Podcast with JD. And is Brendan going to be joining us as well, or are we just going to get JD in here?
I'm working with JD right now to make sure he gets into the live stream on time. So
yep, there he is. All right. So Dan, before you jump out, once again, thank you for all of the hard work you're doing.
Yes,
EPing
thank you, Dan.
all over the place. You're doing an amazing job, so I really, really appreciate it. Thank you very, very much. Keep fighting the good fight. Keep Bill in line in the chat. Bill,
I will. Bill, you're gonna get one of these. It's exclamation Bill in the chats, everybody.
I'll get you back, and I'll treat you if you ever do decide to come down here and hang out with us.
I'll probably convince Ashley the next time we meet halfway.
Yeah, something.
I think she's seen enough of me, to be honest. She needs other dudes to be able to see.
I think my wife could say the same thing, so maybe they can relate on that level.